y'all. This is Kathy.
And this is Bernard.
And we're Poly Voyage, and you're watching
PVTV.
All right, y'all. So today we're going to talk about an important topic that many people ask all the time, and that is, how do you find a third, or how do you find a unicorn? A bisexual woman that wants to be involved with a couple, both equally. That's pretty much essentially what that is. So today we're going to give you a couple of different tips of things to consider before you decide to embark on that journey. And then we're just gonna get right into it.
Yep.
All right?
Yeah.
So first things first is figuring out what are your needs as an individual. Separate from being a couple, like what are your needs as the woman in a relationship, or as a male, or whatever the case is, or however you identify, what are your needs? So like, Bernard, what do you think, like some ideas or some thoughts?
Some different ideas. First of all, just to start off, is I believe in like, he who fails to plan, plans to fail. So it's like, we also have to know what we want first before we can have anything like, done the way we want it to, and also have our expectations out there. So we run into the right person and kind of attract that also. We're big believers in law of attraction.
Yeah.
So me as an individual, as a male, I want a girl who has a good head on the shoulders, more than just, like, of course the looks are gonna play a big role, but I also want one that, has a good job, going to school, good relationship with their parents, not just that, don't have to necessarily be a good relationship, but a mutual respect for their father, because how they respect their father and how they deal with their father is how they're gonna deal with me in retrospect. And then also like, definitely phenomenal communication skills and the ability to be vulnerable and be okay with being vulnerable, because I don't want to, put you in a vulnerable situation and then, you're lashing out for attention and being like a little big baby or acting out of order, when it's like you shut down also. I mean, you shutting down in the process. So it's a lot of different things we look at, and then just also overall, just also take care of yourself, value yourself, and just like, the exercise, the whole reading, improving yourself on every aspect, keeping up on your nails, your looks and everything like that, plays a big role. Because, I'm going to be doing that for myself also, because I want to be also like transparent and be that same type of person. So a lot of different things to look into. There's more I may have, but I can't think off the top of my head, but I'll pass it on to Kathy to also ask, what does she want as an individual also.
I mean, for me, more so, besides just qualities, of course, of what you want in a third, I mean, the biggest thing is, like I said, starting off with what are your individual needs. So for me, like, my individual needs are that I'm bisexual female. That's how I identify. So therefore, my individual need that I would want met by engaging with somebody else is to have another woman to connect with. And also, too, as we talked about before in earlier videos, when it comes to also inviting other males in that aspect, whether it's just sexual relationship and that's it. Also, too, it's like trying to figure out, okay, well, what would I want out of that experience? And that is variety, something different, something new. So that's something that I would be thinking about when it comes to like, what are my needs separately of what I'm looking for to get out of this relationship? Because out of all relationship you have, no matter whether romantic or friendship or family, it all has to be mutually beneficial. It shouldn't be one person benefiting more from any relationship than the other. So that's something that I would want to get met if I engage with someone else, whether it be a male or a female. But of course, the female aspect, because obviously I'm not getting that from my primary relationship, because obviously he's a man. So that's a big thing. The next thing that also people sometimes are curious about is, how do you go about finding a third, but also being a couple? So we got the aspect of the individual needs met and what you're looking for, and what you'd want met from that relationship. But now the thing is, as a couple, people sometimes say, like, what are your couple goals? Or, do you want someone just to kind of play around with and fool around with, and then they leave? Or do you want someone to actually join in on your family and build a life together? Like, what are your desires and what do you want from that third person? Now, before we kind of delve into that, understanding that alone, there's a specific term called couples privilege, and that's what that term relates to. What that is pretty much, we're going to do a whole other video on couples privilege, because there's so many things we can kind of get into with that, that are enlightening, things that we didn't even realize was considered couples privilege when we got into a triad situation, that brought up a lot of stuff. So that'll be
insecurities, a lot of, miscommunication, and expectations that we threw on our unicorn or third without us actually intentionally knowing or trying to and everything like that, but it was there.
Yeah, just like an unconscious thing that just kind of happens because of that couple's privilege. But pretty much it's just assuming that things have to go a certain way and that primary relationship takes precedence over the needs and the wants of that third person. That's pretty much what couple's privilege is. So yes, it's okay to kind of have an idea of where you guys want to go as a couple, especially if you're married, kids, things like that. You know, have a good idea to understand that, but also understanding that when you bring someone in, that's going to change the dynamic a lot of the relationship, and you have to be willing and open to those changes. And then the next thing when it comes to also another tip as far as trying to find someone is communication has to be big. The skills have to be there, and if they're not already there, make sure you're working on them on your own, within your own relationship with that person. Make sure you're reading books. I mean, just staying like on top of, you know, ways that you can kind of communicate your thoughts in a respectful way that's not gonna, you know, come off abrasively or come off as if you're just being defensive. Just being able just to communicate what your feelings are and what you want, without causing a big uproar, because Lord knows that can happen when it comes to opening up any relationship.
I'm gonna jump in on this because it's like sometimes we're in a relationship, we make a lot of assumptions and assume and have expectations that that person didn't come out and say, or we want them to already know. We need to also communicate that and vocalize it. So meeting on a weekly basis and continuing like to communicate and having like a sit down.
It's like a family meeting.
Where you guys kind of like regurgitate how you feel or point out certain things that you didn't like during the week or things that we can improve on, and you know, just so we can develop growth, maturity, and different things like that. Because even though we've been together for a while, there's certain things that we do that we already know and we're accustomed to, and then
like
that person, that's second nature. And that person coming in, they don't know like our little inside jokes or what movies we've seen or what little things that we do on a regular basis that they're not like in tune to. So it's like also having the understanding that that person may gravitate more towards her or may gravitate more towards me, and that needs to be something that you guys kind of communicate. If you notice it and put it out there, because last thing you want is to sit there and let it fester, and you know it's building up and you're getting angry about it, and then you may not even notice, but you start to lash out in certain ways because that girl may be spending more time with her. I may feel some type of way and be like, well, fuck this situation, I'm finna go look for somebody else. You know, I'm gonna have someone on the side since he ain't even going the way I wanted to, or you know, it's not working out with me and her. And you know, so it's just like also being attentive to that and just finding someone that also like, you know, can be honest and be like, okay, like I gravitate more towards girls, because there was a girl that we dated in the past and she gravitated more towards girls, and she said, but I don't mind, you know, messing around with Bernard and different things like that. And it's like, it's cool. At least I know, so that way I don't what the expectations are, so I'm not also automatically like, okay, like I'm assuming and expecting like, okay, she's gonna be all over me, or I'm gonna be doing stuff for her on a regular basis, and we're gonna share the time. So just a lot of,
so that's a big thing. So communication has to be there. And if it's not, don't get into it. Don't bring somebody into your relationship if you're not willing to have those tough discussions, because it's going to come up, it's going to happen. Especially when you're coming from a place of being a couple, bringing somebody into your relationship, whether that means physically into your home or even just into your lives in general. It just takes a lot of self-reflection. But if you can't even have that self-awareness on your own, you're not going to be able to have that with somebody else. So you have to be honest with yourself first before you're honest with anybody else. Like, I can't tell Bernard, hey, Bernard, I'm feeling insecure about this and that, if I don't even have that awareness. All I'm going to do is lash out and get angry over something petty, all because I'm not really understanding that, like, okay, I'm just feeling a little jealous right now. I'm feeling a little bit insecure. I need to communicate that. That, listen, I might feel a certain way. My mood might be a little off. Like I'm a little jealous. Or I'm a little insecure. I might need some reassurances that everything's still good, that we're still fine, that I'm still important to you. Like, that's all. That's okay to say that you need that. Because if by saying that you don't need that because you want to act like you got it all together and you got poly all figured out, that's what starts the issues. And that's where things start to brew, and then relationships get destroyed because people aren't able to communicate those things. And that's important.
And whether it's poly or even monogamous relationship, I don't want you guys thinking like, okay, like this shit crazy, you know, when you're in a poly relationship, you gotta communicate. even in a regular relationship, we
Yeah.
had to communicate and get to know each other. The way I was brought up and different things like that is different from the way she was brought up. So I have to also communicate how I feel about certain things. Certain ethics that I may have may not be certain ethics that she has. So it's like, in all, it's like whether it's poly or just a monogamous relationship, I don't want you guys making it seem like, oh, this shit is difficult. No matter what relationship you're in, it's like, you know, you have to be willing to also realize that, you know, you have to step back and also be able to listen and kind of just learn and like, you know, and put it out there that you're in it for the long run and not just for the, you know, the hanky panky and doing all the other shit and everything like that. But if you're in it for that and just, you know, for a sexual relationship and get over done with, that's cool. But also like, you know, find out where you're at and like, you know, communicate it and see what you want to do.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, is kind of just being able to just bring that up. The next thing also too is also understanding like what are the qualities that you want in that person. For example, there's certain things like, for me, I don't want to say just weed, but like for me, like I'm not trying somebody that smokes cigarettes. That's like an automatic no.
That's an automatic
You know,
no
so like there's
too.
certain things that some people are cool with, some people are not. What are some other qualities? Definitely taking care of yourself, good hygiene, valuing how you look. I'm not saying to walk out the house like you're going to a photo shoot every single day, but at the same time, don't be looking like straight shit. And one thing for us is that, for example, when we go to the gym, it's just some small little example. People think that's an excuse to like go to the gym and look like a hot mess. No, that's not an excuse to look like a hot mess. You can still be put together and go to the gym. Yeah, you're gonna get sweaty. Yeah, you're gonna work out. Doesn't mean you have to go in there looking like you just rolled out of bed or somebody pushed you out of bed. So little things like that, like I know I pay attention to. You know, like how do they look? Are they put together? Do they seem like they kind of take care? They have value in themselves. And I'm not talking about name, brand, this and that. It's just, do you see someone that carries themselves well? And that's something that's like really big for me, as far as qualities. Anything else on your end?
A big one that I know motherfuckers get really bothered by is sometimes they want to know if they're third person. They want to know their number, who they mess with, or
like body counts.
Body counts and different things like that. If they still mess with a certain person, different things like that. So it's like, that's a big thing. So if that shit bothers you and you really want to talk about it, y'all need to address that in the beginning. You know, because that's something also that's detrimental to like the whole communication and like chemistry that you guys may have amongst each other. Because some people may not want to know, and they be like, you know, hey, it is what it is. Whoever you slept with and did shit with, that's cool. Just, you know, get tested or, you know, give us a count or something like that. And some people, they do care. And it's like, it bothers them not to know. You know, it's like they feel some type of way.
And if that's if that's you, then say that. You know, that's gonna be a whole other video on whether or not body counts matter. You know, but at the same time, it's like you have to understand it all starts with having that self-awareness. Is that something that's important to you?
Yeah.
I might not think it's important. I might not think it's necessary to tell you my body count. And if that's the case, then our conversation ends there. We're not going to go any further. We're not going to pursue this anymore because obviously we already reached a hard line in the beginning, which is you answer my body count, I'm not going to tell you because I don't think it's important.
If you don't know what the term body count means, it's how many persons they've slept with and everything like that, or done
any kind of sexual act.
Any type of sexual act. So just
so that just depends. I mean, like I said, that's something that's really important to you. Express that. But like I said, that's a whole other situation because we've all been up under or on top of somebody. So really kind of gets to a point of like, what's the purpose of really knowing the number? Is it to slut shame? Is it to, you know, feel like, you know, oh, she didn't really have that many numbers. I'm still like, you know, the best one or what's this person's or another big one for guys I hear all the time. Oh, was his dick bigger than mine's? Like, that's a whole other video. But at the same time, it's like, if that's important to you, good fucking luck. Because that already shows you have a lot of things you have to do inner work on. So like, if that's something you want to be asking.
It's always going to be an issue. It's like, there's somebody that's going to be bigger than you. There's somebody be smaller than you. Different things like that. And at the end of the day, don't think these females don't have the same type of perspective also. They may feel like, okay, like, well, damn, was her pussy better than mine? Different things. Or, you know, was it tighter or different things? Or how she kissed you, how she sucked your dick and everything like that. All that shit plays a big role. So also factor that in when y'all motherfuckers sit here crying and y'all also, you know, excluded them from having males, but they can have females and different things like that. And you're the only one dick policy that's going on. It's like they don't get to experience any other dicks, you know. So it's like for them also, they want to also experience something different also. So that plays a big role. So while you sit here crying about just you and your feelings and all other shit, you need to let that ego go. Yeah, let it go.
Yeah, so that's something you have to also consider. So even qualities when it comes to a third person, does that third person want to be involved with other people outside of your relationship? If that's something that they want, you have to understand that. And if you don't agree and aren't on board with that and don't support that person and what their desires are as an individual outside of being involved with you as a couple or as a collective, then the shit ends right there too. So at the end of the day, it's all about understanding, like, what do you want? What are your needs? Because you can't jump into poly or jump into being open or any kind of relationship, even a monogamous relationship. You can't jump into it and then not know what you want. How many stories do we have of people that say, oh, you know, I got with, for example, me. Oh, some dude got with me, tell me how he wants to make me wifey when all he want to do is fuck. Nigga, if you would have told me that, I would have gave you the pussy anyway.
The same way. She probably just want to fuck too. So it's
so you sitting here making it seem like I want that. You're assuming what I want. When it's like, if you just ask me and we talk about it, we can find something that works for both of us. But that communication has got to be there. And the last part, as far as how do you go about finding them, it's like they're everywhere. And at the end of the day, you have to be open to building new connections. Because there's different dating sites. And you can probably go on and you can put different filters and say you're looking for a bisexual female. But at the end of the day, it's like you have to be open to making new connections, because a lot of times there's people that are out there in the world that would be totally into joining a couple and making having a triad and building a family or building whatever it is you want to build. But they don't know it's called poly. I mean, for years we operated under an open relationship or polyamory without really knowing what it was. We just operated what was our truth. So like, there's a lot of people out there who don't know these different terms and aren't aware of all that, but would be totally down for it. But if you're sitting there not knowing what you want, not knowing what qualities you want to have in a person, not having good communication skills, how will you ever be able to find the person that you're looking for? You're not. And that goes monogamous relationship or open relationship. It's the same thing. You have to have some kind of understanding of, like, you know what? I'm going to go into the world. Whoever I connect with, I'm going to connect with them, see where it goes. And also, too, not having expectations. I mean, you meet someone and already envision them being your third, they might not even want to do that shit. So then you try to also push and force people to do things they don't want to do. So it's just being open, just be yourself. But if you can't really be yourself, you're not going to find someone who wants to be genuine either. And that's how you get people who get into relationships and the shit's all fucked up. Everybody living a lie.
Everybody's lying to each other. And it's like, you know, when shit hit the fan, once you guys start living together and all that shit start taking course and taking place, that's when the real shit start happening. That's when you really start kind of like realizing, okay, like, damn, I'm insecure in this way. And like, these feelings are coming up and shit that you never thought was in there, man, that shit coming out. Believe that.
And that's the biggest thing too. I think sometimes people try to say like monogamy is so much easier than being open, but really, it's like being in a monogamous setting, you're not really exposing certain insecurities because of the fact of the way things are supposed to be in a monogamous relationship. So like jealousy, for example, it's like you don't have to worry about sharing your man because in that context, it's like you're not supposed to. So we're not even going to entertain that idea. You know, not understanding that maybe that person might have a desire to do that. You know, so when you're in an open relationship, it's really just kind of dusting off and bringing to the surface what's already there. Those desires that are already there. And now we're just talking about it. You know, and you can have certain desires and not want to act on them. Like me, I have desires to be involved with other men. I'm not ready to act on that right now. I want to, that's my goal eventually to get to that point, but really, like I said before in other videos, like I got my own shit to kind of work through. Last thing I want to do is bring my baggage up to somebody else. But that's what that is having that self-awareness and knowing what are your needs and what are you able and capable of doing at this moment. You know, those are my needs. Yeah, I'd eventually have variety when it comes to different dicks, to be honest. But at the same time, like, I'm not ready for that right now. There's certain things that I want to make sure I have in order so that I'm not also reliving past traumas and like using that person as a vessel. And that's not okay. So there's different things. I know we kind of ranted on about a lot of different things.
Even me, just to put myself out there also, there's different girls that I would like to talk to, but is there certain qualities that I'm looking for in a woman in order for me to, you know, step forward and like follow through with certain things, you know, and it's like, you know, I want to have a girl that respects my relationship and has my best interest in mind because I'm going to have her best interest in mind. I got a big heart, so I don't want to, you know, mess around and indulge and get involved with somebody who doesn't, like, realize that, like, I got 2 kids that I love near, like, love a lot, and it's like I also want to be involved in their lives, and I don't want anything taking me away from that. So it's like, it's a lot of different things. So that's why, you know, I have the opportunity to mess with different girls, but it's like, I'm not rushing into things because I want to make sure, like, you know, it's the right setting. And it's like, you know, not just, you know, just because it's like, now that I have this access, it's like, you know, you want something really bad when someone tells you no, but now that I have like the access to it and have the permission and the privilege to be able to do this for my wife, it's like, you know, like, I don't want to just jump out there and just go fuck any and everything that I see out there. So it's like, you know, it's also being conscious and being like aware that, you know, there's steps to this and there's like a process. So I don't want to just jump past the process and the principles. We also have certain things and expectations that she expects of me and I expect of her. So we also have to have that person understand that we have like a mutual ground and expectation of each other in order for us to follow through with what we're doing with you. So.
And like I said, everybody operates things differently. How we do poly can be different than how somebody else does poly. There's certain people that their qualities could be they want that person to like not live in the local area. They'd rather have long distance. That can be an option. I mean, you can kind of, like with any relationship, you can design this however you want. But yet, like I said, it all starts with knowing first, what do you want? Because you can't jump into it and then start figuring out later, oh, I don't really want this. Oh, well, it's too late now. Now you got somebody involved. You got someone's emotions and feelings involved, and it just ends up getting messy. So really just having that self-awareness and kind of having that understanding of what your desires are and what you're looking for out of that relationship. And also finding a way to make sure it's beneficial for that person too. Because that person coming into something that's already established or more established than the initial relationship of all of y'all three together. But like I said, that goes into a lot more of the couple's privilege, which that's another video that's going to be coming up in regards to that.
Another thing before we finish, I wanted you guys to put like a FAQ, frequently asked questions, because it's like make a list of them, of certain things, because to find out, because some of these unicorns are coming in and people want them to have babies. You know, in a relationship. That's a big one. Like, oh, do you want to have a kid with us or something like that? Like, she might like be like, hell no, I just want to fuck with y'all and that's it. From there, also like, you know, just all types of different things. You know what else might come up, but it's just like those are some big things that need to be put out there so they
or
know.
Even religious beliefs. Like, what do you believe in? Do you want that person to believe in the same thing that you believe in? Or are you open to them kind of having different other beliefs and you learning about them? Those are all, and like I said, these are all things that should be talked about in a regular monogamous relationship. Like, you can't wait to marry the person, then you find out the husband don't want no kids, but she want 5. But now y'all already been married and been together for 5 years. Well, that's going to be an issue.
Never talked about anything.
That's going to be an issue. So you have to kind of understand that, but that's definitely a big one too. I forgot about that. That people sometimes do want to have more kids.
Putting those expectations out there because, you know, it may be something that you guys want as a couple, but also you guys gotta pick her brain. And there's certain things she's not just gonna off back tell you and tell you right away. You need to also like kind of like, you need to do some pulling and some digging to find out like, okay, like, what are you thinking about? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Like, I asked her from the get-go, like, you know, how do you feel about abortions? How do you feel about, you know, having kids? You know, just different things, because you never know what might come up and you need to put it out there. You know, and it's like, you know, speak now or forever hold your peace. That's what they say at the motherfucking weddings. So don't be sitting there trying to talk about, okay, I'm cool with this. I love what's going on, because that shit gonna look great.
The threesomes are fun. They're amazing.
Like that. They're amazing.
It's a great experience.
Great experience.
But when them threesomes are done and the life starts hitting,
money and all this other shit, all that shit.
How do you want to handle finances? That's all things y'all got to talk about if y'all trying to do obviously a more like in-depth type of relationship. But it all starts with figuring out what the hell you want.
Figuring out what the fuck.
So figure out what y'all want.
Yeah.
If y'all really want this or not, and if you don't, it's cool. And if you want to later on, that's cool too. If you want to do things a little bit differently, that's fine. But just be open to a lot of different dynamics, because it's gonna open up a lot of shit. Like Pandora's box, just popping out all kind of stuff.
Shit you ain't think you had.
For real. So yeah, that's all we got for y'all. We will be doing another video coming up soon when it comes to couples privilege. If you guys have any questions, as always, let us know. DM us. Contact us on Instagram at polyvoyage. Hit us up here on YouTube, subscribe, turn on notifications, get up-to-date alerts on when we upload new videos. If you have anything you want us to talk about, let us know. And we'll keep these videos
put it out there
coming.
And keep it coming, you know. So
And that's all we got for y'all. All right, deuce.